the Chinese, it strikes me, must have been a bit stunned at the incompetence of their Russian friends. Is that likely to make them back off? I mean, I would have thought they would have been really, frankly, very surprised by the way the Russian armies performed. They would have been very surprised by, and I'm surprised at the effectiveness of NATO in pulling itself together under Biden's leadership as I look at it. And I would have thought another thing that you've written about is that it's been a bit, I'd imagine, a bit disconcerted to discover, in fact, the Americans this time knew what the Russians were up to. It was plain their intelligence was very good, and it was a very clever tactic to start to, in a wise way, inform the rest of the world what they were doing. Those three factors would surely give China pause to stop and think we better take a little more time to work these things through.
Yeah, I had a conversation about this with a few Americans in administration. Obviously, it wasn't a classified conversation, just a casual but closed conversation. And the general consensus was that what's happening in Ukraine might have bought us, perhaps 5 years on Taiwan. For some of the reasons you mentioned. The first reason is, and you're correct to say, Beijing has been quite stunned at the extent of the cooperation between Europe and America on sanctions against Russia. The calculation very clearly before the invasion was that Europe and America would be divided, and America would slap a few sanctions on, but it wouldn't really be a game-changing sanctions. The Chinese now realize that if there's any kind of war, for example, over Taiwan, the high likelihood is that the Americans would get global cooperation to start imposing extremely harsh, particularly financial sanctions on the Chinese, and that would devastate the Chinese economies. That's the first point. The second point is that, yes, there certainly has been surprise as to how badly the Russian military has performed. But part of the reason is that, when you fight a war across more than two domains, so the domains of war are land, sea, air, cyber, space. Any war involving more than two or more domains is really complicated. And only the Americans tend to do it that well. If you look at the Chinese and the Russians over the last 20 years, and you look at their military budgets, they're impressive in terms of numbers, in terms of the weapons they produce, but they haven't actually invested a lot in logistics and organization. And so this will have given the Chinese Communist Party and the People's Liberation Army pause for thought, because they haven't invested, as with the Russians, they haven't invested in logistics and coordination across different domains as well as the Americans have. So it's great to have all these powerful weapons, but if you can't actually use them in the field of battle in a coordinated way, then we see what happens. That's a further reason. The final reason is that unlike Russia, China still seeks to be known as a legitimate or respected leader. Putin plays a rather brutal, blunt game. It's really just to coerce through energy and military. But China wants to be seen as the leader in our region. It wants to change the norms and the standards in the region. You can't do that just by material power alone. So by now aligning with such an unpopular country and leader like Russia and Putin, that has set the Chinese plan backwards. China can't just start bombing Taiwan. That won't achieve its aims. It has to take Taiwan, and it has to get other countries to accept its ownership over Taiwan and its leadership more broadly. So the Chinese now will be thinking, how do we do that? And so the silver lining, if there is one, from our part of the world, it certainly has set back China's plans, and I think we bought ourselves some time.